So today I'm going to show you a serger tip that's going to change your whole entire serging game. Alright, so this is one of the things that I always teach my students, alright, whether it's the online courses or the physical classes, because working with stretch fabrics, or if you're working very slippery fabrics, there's always a huge problem with serging and the fabric slipping and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go through that with you. It's gonna change your serging game, and this is the number one tip I'm gonna leave you today. So if you don't learn anything about serging, just remember this, and remember free movement, and remember all of our tips here. Okay? Like and subscribe, and let's go into it. Okay, so the number one thing a lot of my students tend to forget is this. I like to always make sure that all the threads are lined properly. So once it's all lined properly and I make sure that I really just straighten all the threads, okay, just ensure that everything is done well. Alright, so that's the basic thing. I'm not going to go through that, but now I'm going to zoom in and bring the camera in closer to the footer over here. Okay, what I see most people do when it comes to serging, so after you're done with your other project, right, you're just going to grab like your fabric. I'm gonna just grab a piece over here, and then you're gonna fold your fabric into two. Right? Doesn't matter what fabric you're using, but especially if you're using things like satin or spandex or mesh and stuff like that, and then you tend to just go in this way. Okay, and then what happens is a lot of the time it doesn't align, or sometimes after serging you realize that the fabric is one in and one out. Okay, show you an example. Okay, so for instance, if I'm trying to match these two pieces of fabric, a lot of time people just kind of put them in this way. And it just doesn't line up right. Okay, like you can see some of the puckering, you can see that the fabric's not even and stuff like that, because the fabric is running and it's not catching both of the fabrics, or the top of it is lined up unevenly. Alright, you see all of these problems that tends to happen. Okay, and I'm going to show you one way which is going to eliminate all of these, and you're going to thank me so much for it, but here it is. Okay, I'm just going to grab another piece of fabric. I love this turquoisey aqua spandex color, and it's in a matte color. Look at that beauty. Okay, I'm gonna zoom you in. Okay, now the first thing you're gonna want to do when you're working very slippery fabrics, okay, this is not the most slippery fabric that I have. We have lots of fabrics that are even more slippery than this, like mesh and satin and organza or whatever. So what I like to do, and what I always teach my students, is to first and foremost, okay, you're gonna want to lift up your footer. So I am using the Singer serger over here, so just depending on your sewing machine. Okay, but you know what, I'm gonna reverse that. So before you lift up your serger, always make sure to use the hand wheel to put the needle up at its highest position. Okay, so always make sure it's at its highest position over here. Alright, for the needle. The second thing you want to do is you're going to lift up your foot. You see all of that bulge inside there, right? So it's coming from the serger creating this tail, the serging tail. So what you want to do is you actually want to pull to lengthen it out, to slowly straighten it out. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to control this so that you can see. But anyway, what I'm doing is I'm actually pulling out the tail. Can you see the bulk of it coming out slowly? So I'm actually straightening the tail and pulling that all of that bulge out. Okay, I can't really see from here. Okay, this way. So I'm just kind of straightening out my tail as much as I can after lifting up the footer. Now bear in mind, I am not changing any of the tensions when I'm pulling it. I just wanted to straighten the tail, remove all of that bulge. Okay? After doing that, then what you want to do, alright, so the footer is up right now. The needle's at its highest position. You have straightened the tail. Gonna grab your fabric. Okay, I'm gonna just do 2 layers. Alright, so instead of just feeding the fabric this way as you normally would, then what happens is one side will start to run from the other and stuff like that, and that's how you get it very uneven and you lose control of it. So instead of doing just this feeding, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to line the fabric, assuming this is a very nice clean cut. Let's just assume that I have cut my fabric very nicely and prepped it properly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this right under the needle and use the hand wheel to actually poke the needle in first. Okay, so this, instead of feeding from here and surging through, so what happens is the slippery fabric has to go through the footer, and the chances of it actually running is very, very high. Alright, what I am going to do is I am instead going to feed this fabric, these 2 pieces of fabric together, feed it under the serger footer, okay, to where the needle position is. Okay, then from here I'm going to use the hand wheel to put that needle into the fabric. Then I make sure my tail is straight. I put my footer down. Okay, so I'm gonna go closer so you can see what's going on. So what you can see is I've actually poked the needle directly into the fabric over here. Now you don't want to poke it too far out because you're gonna miss like an area here that you're going to serge. So you just want to make sure that you poke enough fabric, not too much, not too little. As long as you are in the fabric, you are safe. Okay, what happens from here is that you then make sure that the footer is down, the needle is down, the footer is down, okay? And then from here, you can just go ahead to serge as you normally would, just step on the footer and you're gonna have it very, very beautiful. Okay, so what you've done is you've basically made use of the serger needle and the footer to grab onto the fabric first before you actually start serging, so that the chances of the fabric actually slipping from one another as you go under the foot is eliminated. Okay, so this happens a lot when you're working with stretch fabrics and stuff like that, but anyway, this trick is gonna save you your life in your serging game. So yes, you're very welcome. If you have any questions, drop it down in the comments below, okay? Just bear in mind that you first gotta make sure that your tension is all nice and right and your loopers are looking beautiful, okay, before you do all of these. Alright, if you don't understand the serger yet, alright, we'll have more tutorials coming up. But if you're also keen, go check out our online courses. We have many courses where we teach you how to work with stretch fabrics and stuff like that. Okay? So thank you. See you again. And take care. Bye.